Okay, now I got this bolted down nice and sturdy, and I'm getting ready to do this part of it in here. There's the other side. I gotta true that up a little bit over there, but that's kind of how that turns out. A little more trimming on the carbon fiber, and it's getting close for ready for Bondo. Now I'll get this side done, get this Bondoed, and then we'll finish up here, and I'll drill, you know, the final mounting holes, hold these pieces to the center, and then I'll start working on the kick panels. So yeah, once again, here I am deep into a mess. This car just never ends. The amount of work. So yeah, last video I said I'd hope to have it done by February, the end of February, so I don't know, still have that hope, but there's no way I'm going to have the interior pieces covered and everything done by February. So anyway, just keep trucking along. Okay, so there's my prep for my next pour. And you know, so this form is all set up to allow tolerances, you know, for the thickness of the glass there, you know, along with this, you know, so the form is basically the inside dimension here, the outside dimension there, leaving tolerances for that piece. I'll do a little more grinding here so that'll stick. Other than that, it's ready to roll though. I'm so sick of fiberglass. I'm tired of itching. Tired of it. So we'll get this done on to a little more friendly Bondo work. There is the passenger side. Figured I'd show what it looked like before I trimmed it up and grind it down. Came out pretty good. Came out pretty good. There's my fancy mold. So yeah, I'll grind that down, trim it up, get some Bondo on there. Little bit of Bondo. Little bit of Bondo. Came out pretty good. Just about ready to hit it. Finally done with the fiberglass. My goodness. Last night I was out here till like 9-10 o'clock finishing up this grinding and cleaning up in here, and yucky. What a mess. My skin was just messed up from a couple of days of doing this. So yeah, put some lotion on, try and heal up from that crap and move on to the Bondo. I wonder if this will be the last mess I make. You think, I just keep thinking I'm done, keep thinking I'm done, keep thinking I'm done, and here I am just buried full on in another mess. Another project. So It's gotta end sometime. It's amazing to me how long this thing just keeps going and going. There we go. That's what it should look like. Fits in there real good, so covers up all that ugly part and tucks up against the bar real nicely. I filled in that gap in there from the seam, and that's what it looks like inside. So nice and fit, nice and trim. It'll be nice and sturdy, rock solid. No flapping around, no vibrations anywhere. And accessible. In other words, I'll be able to remove the gauge pod, unplug it, and then take loose a couple fasteners on the inside there, a couple fasteners here, the duct, and then that'll come out of there to be able to work on stuff. Same with the other side. And then with those sides out, I'll be able to get the center out. The tunnel can, or this part can come out anytime. So, you know, that's part of the way I build. Try to build things nice and tidy, organized, neat, and then be able to take it apart and fix it. So now I'm going to it's Christmas. I need more Bondo. I don't feel like going looking for Bondo on Christmas, so I'm going to go ahead and start making kick panels. Basically the same stuff that the dash is made out of. I got a sheet of it. I'll cut some shapes, get it nice and hot, and I'll be able to bend it where I want, make some nice kick panels. And then we'll cover the kick panels with, you know, whatever material. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the side there, if that's going to be carpet or some kind of leather or something. So yeah, so I'll have those pieces removable, that way I can seam seal and make that part ugly and not worry about it, and then have that removable kick panel. And I'll have one underneath the foot pedals. The floor is going to be filled in with some padding, make it flat both sides, and then I'll make a box right in here, a little speaker box with a custom kick panel for the speaker. I'm going to have 3 different component speakers. I'll talk about the stereo a little bit more later on, but that's going to be cool. Okay, wouldn't you know it? 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I just posted up the last video. One of the forum members mentioned that this dash would rather go on top of this lip than below it, because when you're sitting in the car looking in, this part is going to be visible rather than, you know, just all dash going up to the windshield like it should be. And I don't know why in the hell I didn't think about that, but anyways, I appreciate the heads up, all the heads up I've had through this project, people saving my skin on things. So yeah, I gotta change this, take that apart, put it on top, place everything back in there, and no doubt it's going to change some things on how that fits in little ways, so I'll have to see how that affects things and then readjust. So here we go. Oh, and then here's the beginnings of a kick panel that's going to go in there. I'm just kind of mapping out what it may look like, what I might need to do, you know, besides making a pattern for the material that I'll cut. There's version 3, 4, 5 of the dash, this time on top of the lip. I got a new form ready to pour. I'm going to extend that lip and then make it match the contour of the windshield. You know, when it was hid underneath the dash, there was a lot of overlay on this side, and then it just barely fit under the lip on that side. So I'll add quite a bit there, add not as much here. And then right here, it'll do a funky bend over the lip and then transition right up to the edge of the lip, which will follow that gap on around and down. Something like that. And then look like that on the inside. So I didn't have to redo this much here. I just kind of had to change what was going on right here in this area, and it'll blend over the top and look real good. So a little more fiberglass work. Love it. Notice how I got a piece of tape in between here, and that'll separate those two pieces, and then I'll grind it out, gap it appropriately. So, and then the other side, same old story over here. Same story over here. So here we go. Time for some glass work, and then we'll get that done. Now we got some fiberglass on there, so let that cure up. Let that cure up, bust it loose, and then grind it down, put some mud on there, and hopefully that'll be it. So I think we're in good shape. Probably ought to get the glass out, put it on there, and see how much room I got where I need to trim that. Seems like it's been a couple weeks. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. A lot going on. Haven't worked on this thing much. And so now I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to make the end of February, or the end of January deadline. That basically leaves me a month. It's January right now. I could put it in that show as an unfinished project, but I ain't gonna do it. I want this thing done. Done. So I want to go play next summer. I don't want to be working on this thing, finishing things up. So anyway, here we are with the dash. I'm going to grind this down and get some Bondo on it. See that nice edge right there? The fiberglass edge. When I was prying that up a couple weeks ago, I sliced my finger down that thing, laid me open. I was digging fiberglass slivers and hairs out of that cut. Oh my goodness. Anyway, cool stuff. See, I'm going to get that ground down, get some Bondo on it. I'm sick of fiberglass. I want this done. So here we go. I hate it. Dusty, yucky. I'll get this cleaned up and clean this place out and change my clothes, and we'll start up with some Bondo. Alright, finally got that done. Everything cleaned up. So everything's secured in position with its fasteners. All clearanced proper. Let's see if we can climb in here. See it up here. What it looks like inside, nice and tight up against the door panel. Nice little gap. And I got the vent locations in the holes in here. So yeah, happy with that. That's gonna look good. That's gonna look good. So now I can start working on the kick panels. Hopefully that means no dust. Glad to have that done. Now I'm moving on to the kick panel here. Cut out the general shape, and I'm going to kind of force that in where it goes. And I'm going to get my heat gun out. Start applying some heat. And we'll get that to form to that shape. And then that'll be what I'll use to, apply the carpet. So this is kind of a trial run on this piece. Once I get this one hammered out, I'll kind of know what I did right and what I did wrong, and I'll start getting the other ones laid out the way I want it. And I talked to the guys at the stereo shop, and he thinks I ought to put the speakers right up here. I'll put the main sub driver down here, but the small little driver and the tweeter I think will fit real good right here. Good little spot for it. Get the proper sound out of the system that way. As he explained it to me, when you get those highs and the mid highs, it's more of a directional sound to where the bass kind of travels around on its own. So that type of sound you get better off when it's pointed right at you. And it'll be better than having it down here. So this will get just a smooth panel here. Face that off. Right here is the dead pedal, which I'll put in there, integrate that in there somehow. So yeah, I'm going to put some heat to that, and we'll see how it turns out.